You know, friends, a lot of interesting things always seem to be happening around the world, and especially in India. Recently I came across a wonderful article. I am also, I think I start whining also because whiner versus whiner may make a positive effect on people who are listening to this conversation. Now, I'm just trying to and as I say, it's a conversation. It's my ideas, and if you want, please put in your remarks, your comments, or anything like that. I welcome it. Mostly, I like to have criticism because I may be looking at very differently, objectively, more objectively than what is necessary, but I would like to have your criticism on that. Now, coming to the topic which I told you about, a very interesting topic, it's an Oxford study. And the Oxford study says Pragati fast tracked 340 projects. Now, the Pragati platform means it is what you call, it is a infrastructure development platform. Because a lot of projects were held in abeyance. They were standing all alone without anybody, like orphans for decades, 20 years, 35 years, 25 years, 10 years, 15 years. Even a small bridge over a river in Assam was waiting for 15 years. Another project was waiting for 27 years. These are the things which we must look into. What are the positive things that is happening in India? Rather than whining, always about taxes and always about GST, always about income tax. Let us wake up. Let us come out of the mess that we are in. Now, we must understand that we are looking at a growing, developing economy. Now look at it. Pragati says, it says here that India has charted a path that other emerging economies can emulate. The digital platform was launched by PM Narendra Modi in 2015 for reviewing the projects and the process of infrastructure projects and key central government schemes. More than I think it is more than 2.4 lakh crores worth of projects which have been covered in these 9 years. You can imagine what is the huge infrastructure development we have undertaken. 2.4 lakh crores. And once upon a time, we had a defense minister who said we had no money to buy bullets and jackets for our people living in Siachen. For our forward forces, we had no proper guns. We could not even buy an AK-47 for each one of our soldiers. But today we are looking, that is independent of that, we are able to invest and grow and develop and invest for 2.4 lakh crores worth of projects completed. So let us stop whining. Look at it. Look at how much India is jumping, it is leaping like a kangaroo. It is not standing still or crawling. It is leaping like a kangaroo. In leaps and bounds we are developing. So what is the consequence of this infrastructure project? Have we ever applied our mind on this consequence of this infrastructure project? Just imagine, previously a boat crossing a river. It will take you 3 hours to cross by boat. Now when you cross the boat, what is the pollution that causes the river? What is the consequence of that? The river mammals die, the river fish die, and the river dies out over a period of time because of the pollutants, because the diesel and the pollutants that come out of the ship and the boat. Today, because of the bridge, what is the consequence? Shorter times. What was taking 3 hours to cross, you can now cross in 15, 20 minutes or even half an hour maximum. So what happens? The amount of saving, for example, you are transporting a particular item to another side of the river. For example, you are transporting wood. Now, what was taking first loading, then traveling, then unloading. What are the costs? What is the time effect on this? Have you ever thought about it, analyzed it? So if we use the bridge, is one time it is loaded there and immediately within 15 half an hour it reaches the other side and is unloaded. Imagine the time framework and the time saving and how much of trading which can take place between two parties. I'm talking about the one side, that the two side work. The bridge is a two-sided bridge. So you have two-way traffic. When you have two-way traffic, you can imagine the amount of business that can be developed. Because of that, you can imagine the amount of employment can generate. The amount of employment generates means that the people there have job opportunity and they need not run to other states for the purpose of jobs. So you can, for one single infrastructure project of a bridge, you have so much. So imagine a road connecting two distant parts of an underdeveloped state like Bihar, because Bihar is supposed to be an underdeveloped state. And you can imagine the road development in today. Today they are looking at investing 1 lakh crores worth of infrastructure roads project alone in Bihar. And the poverty levels of Bihar compared to other states is definitely bad. We must admit on that, though we may not like it, but we must admit that it is still not caught up to the level of other states like Madhya Pradesh or like Karnataka or like Maharashtra. It is still having certain problems. To sort out the problems, infrastructure is what you call the necessity. And the necessity has been now the initial, as you call for a sick man, the initial dose of the vitamin and the antibiotic has been given. When the initial dose is given, it should not be too much. If it given too much, he may die because his body will not be able to accept it. So, the 1 lakh Bihar can sustain 25 lakh crores of worth of investment. Such a huge state. So many resources, so much of people, so much of hard-working people. It has the best people who can, give every type of service to you. It's got intellectuals, it's got scientists, it's got philosophers, it's got so much in its background. And if you look at the history of Bihar, it's got a history unparalleled in the world and unparalleled in India. So today we have injected a little bit of vitamins and little bit of what you call antibiotics so that Bihar can take a step forward towards bringing its strengths into India. What I say is, when I say bringing into India, I mean into the full force. He can activate. Imagine the amount of additional strength India will derive when all the states become powerful. They become strong. They economically depend. They don't economically depend on other states or on central government. When each of them become a central power by itself, because a power by itself, the amount of GDP growth you can imagine, and especially Bihar, which now has got a huge amount of natural resources and bordering Bangladesh. If it can and it can burn and it can use these resources of West Bengal, and you can imagine the amount of development India can, unimaginable. The contribution of that single state can put India a notch up. I would say, instead of looking at another 5 years for development, I would say now Bihar also develops on the level of Madhya Pradesh or Gujarat. It can, it can bring India within the reach of $30 trillion economy earlier than 1975. So I would say that these are the few things we should look at what India, the government is doing, rather than keep on whining. Whining is a bad habit which we have developed over the years. Let us stop it and let us look at it more positively.